what you would do, whether you lose your shoe or whatever, like what you would do.
Get stuck
with the timing chip, and then you have a 7-minute T1. What?
Yeah, yeah. And if you visualize rectifying the error, addressing the error, doing it for real, like in practice, so that you have it down, so it's a source of confidence, not this source of holy shit, I'm gonna freak out in the transition, because it sounds like I rode with Bruce this morning, and it's like it sounds like all hell breaks loose in the transition. Yes. Like it's just. In fact, I was looking up videos for flying bike mount.
Oh
and,
no!
And like they're rubber banding their shoes I'm like, is that for real?
Yeah, that's how you do it to make sure they're facing the right way.
And then sometimes the rubber band doesn't break.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then you can't get it on. And you're like.
So it's supposed to break.
I ran out of all the small ones, so I have a huge one, so I just had to go down and yank it.
It's like very hard, and then because like the back of your shoes have the loops on them, but sometimes if the rubber band doesn't break, it makes the loop go down, then you can't grab it to put your shoe on. So that's really fun.
So the rubber band's supposed to break.
It's supposed to break, yeah.
Yeah.
But I see if it's a strong enough rubber band, it won't break sometimes.
You want a small one.
Yeah, you want the skinny ones.
But you don't want it too small that when you're running it breaks before you get on the bike. Because that will also because your shoe can fall off then.
We should sell rubber bands for triathlon someday.
Yeah, especially engineers. I'm a material scientist.
Boom.
Why is that not your dissertation?
And the last thing I was gonna bring up is, can anyone tell me what typical sources of self-confidence are? Because there's 6.
Okay. Past experiences was one we touched on a lot.
Yes, so that's the most important one. Like your performance accomplishments in the past, that's like key. There's no doubt.
5 more.
How you're feeling at the current moment.
So let's see. I guess I would interpret. Yeah, that's your physiological state. Would that be close enough? So it's kind of like, do you interpret butterflies, or for you it's laughing? If you interpret that as a good physiological sign, you want to replicate that. You don't want to replicate the tight, tense. I'm having butterflies, or I feel nauseous. That sometimes that works for people. So you have to figure out what we call it. This is called the zone of optimal functioning. So everyone's got the zone of optimal, like anxiety, so to speak. Yeah. So some people do well with anxiety, like you perform well under pressure. Some have to be totally relaxed, like laughing. Mm-hmm. So figure that out, and that's a source of confidence. Build that in.
External metrics. That is a thing, but it's not. We're talking about internal confidence right now a little bit. But
external metrics. So like you mean like comparison to others.
Like how well you're doing.
Yeah. During races, if people say you look great, then I go, "Oh, I do," and then I start.
But if you're passing someone that
passing
really
somebody,
you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. So this is similar. So that's interesting because that's not quite what one of them is called. It's called vicarious experiences. So that's when like the idea is it's more positive than that. It's like if you have a teammate who's kicking ass, and you're like, "Well, if she can do it, I can do it too." Okay. And so, like, it's inspiring, but it can also be
predatory. Like, I just passed that person.
Crush
them.
Crush them.
As my friend put it, do you like to crush souls? Like what? Like that's okay. That's the third one. We have we have physiological states. Your past performance accomplishments was the most important one. Vicarious experiences. Okay, the other one I'm going to give it to you because it's similar to physiological state, but it's your emotional state.
Okay.
Like, what are your emotions on the day? And it's like, how do you respond to the various stress situations? That's kind of key. Anyone think of the last one? It's going to be hard because but I'm going to...
Feedback from others?
So it's actually, that could be more like vicarious experiences, but it's more imagery. Like, so if you can imagine successful performances in your mind, so it's kind of similar to past performance accomplishments, but if you can imagine those vividly, that's going to help your confidence. And so that's why imagery is a kind of a key confidence builder. And then this whole reframing, cues, all that stuff is part of building your confidence because it keeps you confident. So, in this respect, I guess in summary, I just wanted to say that there's all these sources of self-confidence, but truly, I think the most important one is remembering your past performances and then forgetting, basically unweighting yourself of all the baggage, the mental baggage that you have, which just means focusing on a cue, keeping yourself in the moment so you're not thinking, like laughing, right? When you're laughing, typically when you're laughing, you're not thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna die, or so. I mean, you're like, you're not really thinking about outcome when you're laughing. Or I think in your case, when you were doing well in that Cape Cod triathlon, you were just almost, I would say, it would appear to me that you were kind of almost mildly entertained that, oh, I'm doing as well as these other guys.
Oh, I wasn't aware that I was doing that well then.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
afterwards you saw the splits?
Yes.
But so what made you in that moment feel like you were doing?
I just felt really good.
Really good.
I don't really know if there was anything really.
Because I was going to say that that's something to go in deeper with, is like those emotions. And actually, I haven't got to you in terms of any past sources of confidence that you can share. Because the ideas of with us talking about this is in the homework being, can we write down those emotions, what we actually felt when we were having these past peak experiences that can be sources of confidence for the future. Because one exercise that we didn't do would be like write down all the things that are like the opposite, the stuff that reduces your confidence, and then next to that you would put, well, how would I change that? Would there be a cue? But
Honestly, that feels like an easier exercise for me right now.
and if you're, I mean, it can be anything, because I know, and so this is a good opportunity. Think about this as an opportunity. I want you to not dwell on all the crap you have over your head. I'd love for you to think about the possibilities.
Yeah, so as we've talked about before, the thing that is going super well for me right now, which had a slight setback, but since that setback, I've had one good practice, is swimming. So I wasn't a swimmer. I had never swum competitively or seriously. Then doing masters over the summer, and like lane 6 is a really awesome place to be. There are 4 of us that are literally the identical speed. And so I tweaked my tricep, and so I've sort of lost some of my swim mojo, but we did a swike, which was after that, where we just did it 500 straight at race pace. And that felt good. I was just in the moment feeling the water, and it was just me, Patricio, and Amy literally side by side for 500 meters. We came in within a second of each other.
A second of each other. And this was like going full out for 500 meters.
Yeah, twice.
Wow. Twice.
Right, because it was a swim bike.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like swimming is where my confidence is right now. And that's and it's sort of those practices that I feed off.
Yeah, so we've talked about that before, but so let's think about what, I know there's all these feelings that you don't possibly don't think you could replicate on the bike, and obviously maybe not in the run right now, but what would it take to have those same feelings on the bike, for example? Like, and that's same thing with all of you. Think about when you're having these good feelings and good emotions, like why not? Why can't we take it to another sport? Yeah. And I think, I'm not saying you manufacture confidence from zero, but I'm saying that you can, like you said, Melody, right? When you were, I'm not as good a cyclist as these, well, you're saying that, but you're keeping up with them, these other women. So why are you not as good then?
Because when I don't draft off of them, they kick my butt.
Yeah, so that's the next step. We work on, that's a mental thing. And so whether it's taking deeper breaths and recentering and saying, reframing that, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can descend. Widen what was it, wide and through?
Wide and through.
Yeah, wide and through. That's great. I mean, when I descend on a bike, I try not to think too much because if I overanalyze it,
Right,
it's
exactly.
not good.
Which is why repeating a very simple phrase over to yourself kind of shuts down that over-analysis part.
Yeah, like Bruce was telling me how he was trying to teach you guys how to get out of the saddle. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's actually really hard because
Yeah.
I don't. In fact, Christine was criticizing me the other day about my out of the saddle style. And I'm like, come on, I've been riding for how many years? And she's like, you're using your upper body way too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I was going hard, like, but you're wasting all that energy.
Yeah.
And anyways, but the point being is, there's always room for improvement, and I don't know, just continue to be self-reflective, but just try to. I don't know how I can't force being in the moment. I can't force building confidence, but I think if you just calm your emotions and just go with the flow, you're gonna have. You can take those strengths that you had before and apply them
Right.
to a sport that.
And visualize those good moments.
Yeah, and visualize the good moments. Is that something you guys think you can do in terms of something? Like, how would you do it? Can you tell me how would you actually go about coming up with those emotions, and how would you send them to me? I'm asking you to be creative. It's a very ambiguous question I'm asking you,
Right.
but because I'm asking you to essentially bottle up your emotions and how you're feeling in these kind of strength moments, confidence moments, and write them down so that you can remember them and you can go to them for later. I mean, it really doesn't matter how it looks to me. It's more like it's what it means to you.
We can do a hard workout or something.
Pardon?
We can do like a hard workout.
You can do like a hard
really
workout.
Focus on being positive.
Yeah. So that's actually part of it is journaling, which maybe it's too serious for some of you, but journaling is not a bad thing, and that's a great way to. You look back in your journal and see, because there's swikes. These swikes are special to you, clearly. So we need to bottle those emotions, and then put them to another, a different sport.
I do love swikes.
They're the best.
And part of it must be because you got stimuli, external stimuli,
Yeah.
right? It's this positive atmosphere, and I don't know. Maybe it's easier to suffer when you're.
I mean, it
with
is when
company.
you switch disciplines. Like, it definitively is physiologically. But yeah, I don't know.
And one last question for you is, how much would how good do you think your team cohesion is currently? And because the reason I'm asking is I think that's a benefit that I know Matt's trying to build, other people are everyone trying to build, but I think it's something could be further improved.
Yeah. I feel like we have pockets of it, like your little crew that's your speed,
Your lane.
and then this group also, like.
One thing that in my undergrad team in Michigan State, I think we were all much closer than we are here. I'm not exactly sure why. I think we're all busier here.
Yeah.
But also, we had more time there because practices were in the afternoon. So,
Yeah.
they were done at 8 p.m. I had more time to just, maybe go get dinner or chat. But I think it's definitely, people show up to the workout league.
They leave.
And I mean, I'm not going to say I don't do that. Often
Is there anything because I think I want to try to help with that in the last, 4 weeks before nationals, because I have like 3 sessions coming up in a row. And interestingly, like the little A crew, they don't really participate. So I'm trying to find out also like why they're not participating in this stuff. Because either they got it together, because everyone's busy.
They do.
Yeah,
Right.
or they think they do. Because I mean, clearly, if you're not winning everything, I'm not sure you're quite ready. But I was trying to see if there's other things we could do or I could help out with somehow.